Season 1 of Battlefield 6 has launched to a pretty mixed response when it comes to how players are actually feeling about this. There is a lot of anger being sort of conveyed online towards multiple aspects of what we're getting in Season 1. Some people felt like they were almost rug pulled with Battlefield 6. Now, I personally have a lot to say as well about how I feel about the way Battlefield is handling Season 1, some of the things that I think it's doing right, some things that I definitely think need to be improved, and some things that are actively actually being improved. So before we get into this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications set to all so you can stay up to date with all of the Battlefield 6 content on the channel, and let's just dive right on into it. Battlefield 6 Season 1 has gotten a ton of new additions. We've got a new map called Blackwell Fields, you've got a battle pass, Battlefield RedSec came out, there's some new skins in the game, we have a store now in Battlefield 6, so obviously there are a lot of things that are different compared to the way this game launched, and some things that are pretty much the exact same. But over the past few weeks or so that the game has been out, we've been seeing a lot of things that have been changed, some things that have been added, and some things that we can expect to see based off of what the devs have kind of talked about. So firstly, it looks like we are actually going to be getting naval combat in Battlefield 6. It's not really just something that the devs are looking into, because if you go into Portal, they actually did add the Little Bird helicopter, which is something that they did mention alongside the naval combat sort of additions that they're possibly going to be adding to Battlefield 6. So this is really good news, because naval combat is, I think, something that definitely should have been added to Battlefield 6. So it's good to see that we will actually be giving this content at some point in the future. Alongside this, we also did get Blackwell Fields, which is the first new large map of Season 1. Now, I talked pretty much in depth about this in yesterday's video, talking about why I wasn't a huge fan of this map, why I think that there are so many things wrong with it, and how it's kind of basically proving the issue that's going on with Battlefield 6's maps in general being just so small and condensed, not having that true Battlefield feel to them. However, I do think that this map, personally, as I said in yesterday's video, is really good for recon and engineers, but other than that, there are so many problems with this map that it's truly not a great nor a large-scale Battlefield map. And this has gotten me a little bit concerned about the rest of the maps that we're going to be getting for this game, especially because we know that Eastwood is going to be coming out in the next update, which is in November, and I really do think that there are a lot of concerns that I have about the Eastwood map, because if it's going to play the same, if it's going to have the same issues as Blackwell Fields, I'm hoping that it's not going to be that way, but I'm definitely more concerned than I was before Blackwell Fields came out. Now, a lot of players don't seem to like Blackwell Fields either, so hopefully they are actually listening to this, because it does seem like they are listening to some things, but you know, the maps definitely need to be reworked in this game in some capacity. And speaking of the devs actually listening to player feedback, it looks like there's a couple of things that have gotten some changes since Season 1 dropped. So the first thing is kind of some context here. When Battlefield RedSec came out, RedSec is the new free-to-play battle royale. So when Battlefield RedSec came out, a lot of the challenges in the base Battlefield game, in the game that you actually had to purchase, were related to the battle royale. Yes, you can re-roll some of these challenges, but many players were re-rolling and they were getting more RedSec related challenges, and they didn't want to play this free-to-play edition. Now, obviously, you can understand how extremely irritating that is, and as somebody that's not a Battle Royale fan, you can imagine that for anybody who doesn't want to play that game or who tried it and didn't like it, that they don't want any challenges related to it, because the challenges will get you XP, which you need to level up, and the challenges also give you points for the Battle Pass. So if you have the Battle Pass, you obviously want to progress in it, and locking some challenges behind something you don't want to play is definitely a not great experience for a lot of players, and so this naturally caused a ton of backlash, and I myself think it was pretty ridiculous to force people who bought Battlefield 6 to have to play a free-to-play edition. This has nothing to do with Battlefield 6, it's its own game, and that's how it should have been treated. And I said this in a video previously where I kind of expressed my concerns about RedSec before it came out, where I was saying that my concern is it's going to be a Warzone Call of Duty situation where so many things are too tied into the Battle Royale that the base game is going to suffer. So it looks like the player backlash was pretty intensive, and actually RedSec got review bombed almost on Steam. It's currently sitting at mixed, but for the first few hours it was at mostly negative, so obviously there's a lot of people who are very upset with the inclusion of this Battle Royale. Many people were actually, one of the biggest complaints I saw in some of these Steam reviews were the fact that the challenges were locked behind RedSec, so the devs went back, they changed it so now you can re-roll and not get RedSec related challenges, but the thing is, the bonus mission you could not re-roll. control. So if that's a RedSec one, it's still a RedSec one. You can't change that. Now, another thing that's been really causing a lot of problems with Season 1 and the player base has been the inclusion of microtransactions. So we all know that there's a battle pass, there's a pro battle pass, there's now a store in Battlefield, which I expected, and I knew this was going to happen because, well, first off, they did literally say that there was going to be a battle pass when they were marketing the Phantom Edition, but every video game these days, especially in the AAA FPS world, they all have microtransactions like crazy. Everyone has a battle pass in a store and things like that, free to play, premium, it doesn't matter, it's all the same. And Battlefield is obviously no stranger to microtransactions. I mean, we all know that the publisher at the end of the day is EA, and EA is pretty notorious for microtransaction practices. If you've played The Sims, for instance, you'll know that that is definitely a great example of what, you know, microtransactions look like, if they can even be called microtransactions at some point. But with Battlefield 6, a lot of players kind of expressed that they were hoping that this game wasn't going to have these monetization practices, and in my opinion, this was kind of obvious that it was going to happen. I haven't really looked at the store. The battle pass, I did do a whole video about what's in it previously, and in my opinion, there are some good things about this battle pass, and there are obviously some negative things, but one of the nice things I noticed is that many of the tiers in this battle pass are actually free, so a lot of the skins are free, so it's not like you're missing out on too much if you don't even buy it. I do think that of all the things they could monetize, I would much prefer to have a battle pass full of some cosmetic items rather than locking maps behind map pack DLCs, because that was the standard practice in a lot of FPS games. And then everyone started doing battle passes, and battle passes at the end of the day are a very optional practice. You don't have to buy them. You don't lose or win anything by not buying them unless you really want those in-game cosmetics. You get a whole pass for, I think it's around $10. The Battlefield Pro Pass is the thing that's like $25, and you have to buy that with real money, not Battlefield coins. So a lot of players are kind of upset with these monetization schemes in Battlefield 6. And the thing is, by including RedSec so closely knitted with Battlefield 6, they have a reason to involve these sorts of free-to-play monetization tactics in Battlefield 6 because RedSec is very much connected to the game. Unlocking things in the battle pass is a pretty slow process, but Season 1 is supposed to last for around 3 months, so I'm not surprised that that's the case. But some of the backlash has been more specifically not just about monetization, but about the skins that are being included in Season 1. We all know about the infamous blue Wicked Grin skin. There was that Razor skin collab that had the green tone on it. Everybody's been talking about the skins for some time now because everybody's really nervous to see, you know, a game that's been pretty relatively grounded take a route that Call of Duty took. And we all know what happened with Call of Duty. Everybody knows about the skins in that game. I think Battlefield so far is doing a good job of not taking too far of a route into that crazy type of skin territory, and it does seem like the backlash is kind of working because the Wicked Grin skin was removed and the Razor collab was actually toned down, so the colors were changed to make it look less bright and neon. So obviously, if they are listening, that means a good portion of the player base does care about this, and they are seeing that people care about this. So that gives me hope that the skins will not go crazy, wild, wacky, and ungrounded, so to speak. In my opinion, the color scheme of many of these skins is what's throwing me off because of the neon colors. So if they take this feedback seriously and we see more realistic, cooler skins going forward that actually fit a military vibe, then I think that that's much better than seeing what other games have done, which is just ignore players and then get shocked when people are angry. I think there's still a lot of things that need to be improved with Battlefield 6, and it looks like there is a lot of negativity sometimes in many online spaces, but for the most part, this is a really solid Battlefield title for a launch title. We all know that some of the previous Battlefield games did not launch positively at all, so to see this is very refreshing. The biggest problems right now are definitely some of those bugs like the recon drone bug. Visibility is still a little bit off. For instance, in Blackwell Fields, the maps are a little too small, but for the most part, I do think that this game is doing a good job of doing things right. Hopefully they don't let this game be kind of taken down the same route that Call of Duty did with Warzone, because I honestly don't want to see a repeat of that in a game that's really good like Battlefield. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about Season 1 so far in the comments below, how you're feeling about the changes and the adjustments being made in Battlefield 6. Leave a like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications set to all so you don't miss out on another upload. And that's all for today, folks.